When we talk about a fictional character, whether it's a superhero, a normal hero, or even a villain, how influential that character becomes in your life depends on one simple thing: how deeply you can relate to them. Because if you don't truly relate to a character, then all their great qualities, their courage, intelligence, discipline, or strength will remain nothing more than ideas. You may admire them, you may be inspired by them, but you will never truly try to bring those qualities into your own life. That character will stay an inspiration. You will never aspire to become like them. So the real question is, which characters do we actually aspire to be? And more importantly, how do we relate to them? We don't relate to a character just because we like their qualities. We don't relate to them just because they have the same ambitions as us. And we don't relate to them just because of their power. We relate to a character when they have the same weaknesses as we do, when they make the same mistakes, when they struggle the same way, when they feel just as limited as we feel, because only then do we realize something powerful, that this character doesn't have any unfair advantage over us, and that realization creates a strong emotional connection. Only then do we genuinely try to adopt their qualities into our own lives. And Batman is one of those rare characters. He is not just an inspiration, he is an aspiration, someone we all want to be, and more importantly, someone we can be. Batman is not just a man in a suit. Batman is a belief that tragedy can be turned into motivation, that fear can be turned into strength, and that darkness itself can be turned into an ally. Batman struggles with the same things that you and I struggle with every day: fear, loss, anger, doubt, meaning. And that is why today we are going to talk about 5 qualities of Batman, or you can call them his 5 rules, that he uses to build his persona and to face the difficulties of his life. Let's start with the first and most important one: expose yourself to fear. It is impossible to talk about Batman without talking about fear. Fear is central to Batman's identity. In fact, Batman is one of the best characters if you want to truly understand fear. Fear is a universal emotion. Every single one of us understands fear because every single one of us has felt it. Your childhood fears, your teenage fears, your adult fears, and even the fears of old age, they are all different. But there is one thing common in all of them: we fear the things we do not understand. Fear is born from the unknown. In many ways, fear is darkness, a blackout of understanding, and it is from this darkness that Batman emerges. As a child, when Bruce Wayne falls into the cave, he develops a phobia of bats. A phobia is not just fear, it is a fear that completely paralyzes you, a fear that is out of proportion to the actual danger. You assume far more danger than truly exists. This is exactly what Scarecrow does to people. He turns fear into phobia. But when young Bruce finally gathers the courage to face the bats instead of running away, he realizes something life-changing. The answer to what he wants to do in his life lies inside the very fear he was escaping from. The fear that once controlled him could now be used by him. He could use fear to scare criminals. And this teaches us an important truth. Fear is sometimes necessary to move forward in life, especially the fear of death. Batman is only able to jump out of the well when he jumps without a rope, because only then does he truly fear death. And the fear of death is the ultimate form of motivation. That is why fear is not a bad thing. Fear is necessary. Fear is evolutionary. And sometimes what you fear is an indication of what you are actually seeking. There is a famous quote from Rumi: "The cave you fear holds the treasure you seek." So expose yourself to fear, because within fear lies beauty, within fear lies growth, and perhaps within fear lies the answer you have been searching for in your life. The second defining pillar of Batman's journey is tragedy. The foundation of Batman's mythology is the death of Bruce Wayne's parents, a rich child at the wrong place at the wrong time. This is the moment when a child realizes something too early, that security is temporary, that safety is fragile. As children, we believe our parents are immortal. We believe nothing bad can happen to us. But as we grow older, we realize the truth. Everyone is vulnerable. Anything can happen to anyone. And when this sense of security is shattered at a young age, it leaves a deep psychological impact. For many people, this impact is negative. They become helpless, they lose meaning, they give up. But there are also people who transform their trauma into growth. They draw strength from tragedy, and they do it by taking control. When everything around you is falling apart, when nothing goes your way, own it. Make it yours. Take control. Don't run away, because by taking control, you bring meaning to chaos. Control and independence are core aspects of Batman's character. He learned this early in life. For Bruce Wayne, losing control means losing himself, and he never accepts chaos. The third rule is about choice. Life moves forward through choices. Every second you are choosing something. At every moment, there are infinite possibilities in front of you, and you choose one. Out of countless videos, you chose to watch this one, and that choice matters. But making a choice is easy when there is no immediate consequence. If a bomb could be defused by cutting either wire, we wouldn't hesitate. But if cutting the wrong wire could cause an explosion, that decision suddenly becomes terrifying. Batman lives in this space constantly, choosing between Rachel and Harvey, choosing not to reveal his identity even if people die, choosing to be seen as a villain so Gotham can stay united, choosing to take the law into his own hands to protect the city. These choices are not heroic fantasies. They are psychologically crushing. And perhaps the hardest choice of all, choosing not to kill your enemy. Batman's nature is complex and contradictory. He has no superpowers. And no, his real power is not his wealth. What truly makes Batman different is his ability to control himself. Which brings us to the fourth rule, self-control. To succeed in life, we must learn to regulate our impulses. We must learn to delay gratification. But modern society promotes the opposite: instant pleasure, quick relief, constant distraction. We are raising a generation enslaved by impulse. People compromise their values for momentary pleasure. They do foolish things for short-term satisfaction. When Batman fights criminals, his natural impulse is to kill, but he suppresses that urge, because killing does not align with his value system. That is why Commissioner Gordon trusts him, because no matter how bad things get, Batman will not break. He will not lose control. Self-regulation is like a muscle. Everyone has it, but few train it. Bruce Wayne trained it relentlessly, and that discipline became his greatest power, almost like a superpower, the power of self-control. Finally, the fifth rule, Batman's villains. Batman doesn't fight ordinary criminals. He fights the most dangerous, psychologically disturbed villains in fiction. Riddler, Two-Face, Scarecrow, Joker. Each one of them is a twisted mirror of Batman himself. They have experienced tragedy, just like him. They are obsessed, just like him. But the difference is perspective. Batman believes that if something bad happened to him, he must ensure it never happens to anyone else. His villains believe that if they suffered, the whole world must suffer too. Each villain attacks Batman at his weakest psychological point: fear, lust, power, will. And the Joker, the worst of them all,
tries to convince Batman that they are the same, that morality is an illusion, that goodness is meaningless. And that is why Batman's real struggle is not with criminals, it is within himself, to continue finding meaning, to protect his belief, to hold on to the idea that deep down there is goodness in everyone. And that belief, that struggle, is what makes Batman timeless. Not because he is powerful, but because he is human.